Hi everyone, welcome to Whole Life Angel. My name is Angela, and this will be my introduction video for this channel. I'm not too used to being on cam. I have done it a few times, but not all that used to it. But I am going to start doing some live streams here and there. And for the most part, if you have questions, just ask, and I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my knowledge. I am a licensed life insurance agent. I am contracted with one of the largest life insurance companies, which does business in 40 states across the country, with plenty of agents to help people out with getting coverage. So if you come to me looking for coverage and I can't help you because I'm not licensed in your state, I can redirect you to one that is, so long as you're within our company's range of coverage. Otherwise, you'll probably be better off with looking into other local insurance companies or an insurance broker who will get your information out there and browse to find you one that will help you out for what you're looking for. It's not that easy, but it's definitely not that hard to get coverage, so long as you meet the company's standards. Many companies will cut you out if you are too much of a risk for them. And then they might send your information off to another company that might be able to help you better. And they'll likely reach out to you. That's sort of considered telemarketing or multi-source. Mostly multi-source. Why am I trying to trip over my words? Anywho, multi-source leads come from all different other kinds of companies. The telemarketing ones come from telemarketers doing what they do, and they send that information out to other companies who purchases them for the leads. Companies do purchase information for more leads in order to help more people who were looking for it or have or is still looking. And with the company that I'm with, we cover from ages 0 to 85. And as for the age 0, the newborn is automatically covered for up to 30 days after birth, but they have to be a little bit older than 30 days to be able to get onto your child rider of your insurance or be written up for an insurance of their own. I believe it has to be 60 days. I'll have to double check that, but I will be going over information that I did in my studies to help out with getting more information out there to help people who might not understand insurance. Now, I'm only good with life insurance and not the others, because I have not studied for any of the other insurances. I'm only focusing on life. And the company that I'm with is mainly doing final expenses. Now I know that from this Streamlabs I have probably been skipping frames or defragging or whatever. Hopefully you don't have too much issue with the recording that I'm doing off of it. But it is kind of annoying, and I'm new to Streamlabs too. But for the most part, I will be going over different topics. Some of the topic areas are longer than others, like there's general insurance, life basics. Each one can be shorter or longer than the other, but I'll go through it in parts and then maybe do some live streaming when I can, like when I take a day off. I'll do a live stream, or if I have the time, I'll do a live stream maybe over the weekends. It depends on how this goes before I start doing that. I don't want to start doing live streams too soon because I ain't got much of a following at the moment of this video. Now, if you see me again in other videos and I still look like this, it's mainly because I've already recorded them ahead of time and then scheduled them for releases. And I'm not too sure about what all else I need to talk about in this introduction, aside from the fact that my licenses are in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, Virginia, and Texas at the moment. I am looking into getting more licenses in other states, and I'm looking to help out anybody that's really looking into getting some coverage to help their families, or maybe help out when they get to that point. It's much better to get this kind of coverage while you're young, because the rates tend to be a bit lower. The rates for males are a little bit higher than females, despite the age. And we do go by the biological gender because of the biology between the two. And the ages, like when my mom got me and my brother's life insurance policy on us with this very company that I'm with, we were still teenagers. And at that time, before the inflation, the premium for both of us was $10 each. So she had to pay a total of $20 for both of our policies together. And she's still paying only $20 because that rate is locked in. It doesn't change unless you go and like replace the policy or get you a new policy, because each application, the rates are determined by the age you are when you apply. So it's important to watch for that when you want to go for it, because it could be high, it could be low, you never know until you get there. And there are pre-qualifying health questions to find out what you may qualify for. And then depending on what you qualify for, there may be more health questions. And depending on how you answer those health questions, your policy might change to a different one because of something that was in the response. Otherwise, if you're young, healthy, no problems, no medications or nothing, you will have a low premium. I'm not saying it's going to be extremely low, but it'll be at least somewhere in the 30s at best, unless inflation causes it to rise. These rates are always regulated, and they tend to rise each year by a few dollars. With the inflation, it's making it a little bit harder. And the company that I'm with also is partnered with Legacy Assurance. And I do have a membership because I have a I have a policy with the company. And basically with Legacy Assurance, you have benefits that you can take advantage of while you're still alive, but you can also use it to lock in your funeral merchandise at a more market rate. Despite the inflation, it won't go up. It'll already be locked in the moment you apply. So if you apply now, you can lock in your funeral merchandise at around $4,000, depending on whether you want to be buried or cremated. And it also comes with a wish team, which will make sure your final wishes are met, and they can even try to talk down your funeral expenses, so that since they can do that basically because of the funeral merchandise being locked in at a certain price. So the funeral homes can't raise it up. They can't take advantage of your loved ones when they're planning that funeral and having to go through all the emotional tribulations. So the witch team will be there to help them and keep the funeral homes from taking advantage of them. And so the price for that would drop at least, depending on inflation, where you're going to be doing the funeral, and the state that you're in. It varies, but the prices usually range between around 14,000 and up a little bit. Like, I don't really see them too much more over 16,000 at best, but they could go up even more due to the inflation. But for the most part, they can get it knocked down because of you having legacy and locked in your merchandise price at a wholesale market price. That way, it will be cheaper, and there might be some money left over from that if you're planning on leaving a little something. You can also get a policy that'll give out more than what you're looking for to cover for the funeral. You can have it higher so that it'll give more money out to your beneficiaries. And I'm talking so much, I ain't even getting me a drink. Okay, now where was I? Oh yeah. So even with legacy, you can have up to four family members to take advantage of this. And if they get a policy of their own with the company, they will also be able to get into the membership, because the membership is already placed inside the premium. You won't have to worry about getting it and the premium goes up. It's already calculated into your premium. The only thing that would rise your premium up a bit is your child rider and how much you want to cover for that child rider. And depending on the policy you get, you can also get a accidental rider. And that accidental rider will double your policy in the case of an accident. Now, it can't just be any accident, because self-inflicted ones do not count. Those are the only ones that do not count. Any other accident that is not by your own doing will double your policy. So don't think you can get away with trying to stage an accident, because they will look into that. As long as it's, I don't think they'll look into it after the contestability, but they still might if it seems iffy they got a clause in there. So there's likely no chance of it doubling if it's found out. And then, see, I know I had more to say. I think I might have lost myself a little bit again. I am still somewhat of a new agent, but I do know what I need to know. And it was a lot to process in order to pass the exam. And I did not just run through it. I took my time to make sure I had what I needed to have in my mind before the exam so that I could pass it. And depending on the state, you might have other regulations in order to go through that. But for the most part, in other states, you'll only need to have like 70% to pass, and that'll be it. Some states will have other like loops to jump through. Hoops to jump through, not loops. I am doing this kind of late at night, so I'm probably tripping over myself a lot. But I hope I'm coming off clear. And I suppose I'll leave it at that for this introduction. Hopefully I didn't make too much of a fool of myself. And I know I look terrible. I just don't do makeup. If I did do makeup, I would probably have to go to like a salon or something to get it done. Same with the hair. I'd have to go somewhere to get my hair done if I wanted to look prim and proper. But I'm just going to be me. And I could really use more sleep. But insomnia and work. I gotta put in the work if I want to support my family. And I'm sure you want to support yours too, even after passing. So if you really want to make sure that your family doesn't have to beg in order to have you buried or cremated, because the prices are rather high and not everybody is able to have that kind of money, especially if you passed away unexpectedly. And like the saying goes, today is a given, but tomorrow is never guaranteed. And as my mom always says, which I grew up on, it is better safe than to be sorry. So don't let your family go and beg for money somehow, somewhere, in order to put you to rest. Because if you believe in the afterlife, you are likely to feel regret for not having a policy in place before you passed. And if you don't believe in the afterlife, then at least don't let your family have to deal with the financial burden. Just let them have the emotional side and give it the financial burden to us in the insurance company, because that's what we're here for, to help you and your family out in your financial time of need so that you can focus on the emotional, because the emotional is the hardest part to get over. Financial takes practically the longest, aside from the emotional. Some get over it sooner, some don't, But the financial part could have you in debt, and it's hard to get out of debt, which will only just add on to the emotional side. I pretty much know that because my grandmother passed, which is going on 3 years as of January. She had a life insurance, so we're good, but it's still hard missing her. But yeah, it's much better to do that. That way we don't have to handle the financial burden and can focus on the emotional. We all have to go through that one day. Passing is just a way of life. If you don't believe you need it now, let me just tell you, you're basically fooling yourself. I don't mean to come off rude, but you're basically fooling yourself. Everybody needs to have coverage, because not everybody can handle that price. And if you don't leave some sort of means to get the finances, like if they don't have access to your bank accounts and stuff, information and stuff, they're not going to be able to get what money is there. The banks will likely keep it. They might give it out, they might not. You probably have to go through a whole legal enchilada in order to get through that barrier. And I don't know anything about all those legal loopholes and stuff on that stuff. I only know about coverage for life. So I'm probably just rambling and babbling along. Probably don't even sound like I know what I'm talking about. But I do pretty much know what I'm talking about. I just haven't figured out how to word it. I have it in my head, I just can't word it properly, which is what I'm working on. And this is a way for me to work on my calling, because our company is focusing more on making calls than going in the field due to the pandemic having gone on. It's a way to protect both you and us in order for us to help you make sure your family is secure after passing away. Yes, I use passing away a lot because it sounds much better than saying dead or dying or died. Passing is a little bit more pleasant sounding, but it all means the same. And yes, I am Southern. I probably had a bit of a Southern accent here and there, but I am in the North for now. And I do have a little bit of Northerner in me too from my dad's side, so. But I was born and raised in the South. So I guess I'll leave it at that because I feel like I'm just rambling on now. But if you do have questions, feel free to send them to me in my email that you can find on my profile, or wait for the live stream or leave them in the comments. If it's like a personal thing that you want to ask about or get some more information on, email it. If it's just general curiosity, you can comment it or email. Either way is fine. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that talks about insurance on YouTube or anywhere. But I'm going to do my own thing with it. Kind of like a certain YouTuber that I watch who's in the law tube. I would mention their name, but I might get attacked because they've been getting attacked. So I'm just going to watch it. and maybe drive some support from there once I start getting bigger. But for the most part, I suppose I'll leave it here, and I know I probably said that several times, but I am definitely going to leave it here now and come back again later.